Professor Papaletter, Professor Di Sciascio, Professor Allard, Professor Albino, Professor Iaqvec. It is my great pleasure and honor to open this event. We are here for the opening ceremony of the 10th anniversary edition of the Iaqvec conference 2019. We are going to actually hear for the next 20 minutes a bit of the history of this conference, and then we are going to start officially the programs of this event. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Umberto Berardi. I'm actually a professor pretty far from here in Toronto, in Canada, and I actually have helped the organizing committee to put together this conference for this year. The conference team that is going to actually be part of our next 3 days is going to be Healthy Nearly Zero Energy Building, and is going to be organized thanks to the help and support of colleagues from the Polytechnic of Bari, which is the university that is housing us, the Ryerson University in Toronto, Canada, and the University of Sogno in Benevento. The conference is going to be organized over streams, and in 10 minutes I'm going to actually provide you some guidelines about how to self-organize the events for the next 3 days. This is quite an astonishing event for us. It's the 10th anniversary of the conference. As you can see, the conference has been traveling around the world, and Professor Iaqvec in a moment is going to tell us the story of this conference. We are here finally in 2019 in Bari. We put together this conference proposal 3 years ago when we were in Seoul, Korea. And you probably have already enjoyed a bit of the city. Everybody was happy about coming to the south of Italy and discover a place that is not often quite common for people in the rest of the world. We put together a kind of a nice video that you're going to see. And this was enough to convince people to come to Bari. I'm not going to take too much. We already started late. I'm sorry for those of you that haven't been able to register. We are going to have at the registration desk no stop from 8 o'clock to 6 p.m. every day, today and tomorrow and Saturday. So please collect your badge and your bag later on. It's always actually a pleasure to listen to the scientific part and not to be in a queue just to collect kind of gadgets. So without further ado, I'm actually call on the stage Professor Vito Albino, that is here in the quality of being the president of a regional agency for technology transfer. He's going to actually bring the regrets of the region president. Thank you so much.
So, good morning and welcome. Welcome to all of you in Bari, in Puglia, in Italy. It is a great honor for me to express greetings and welcome today at this conference. I wish to thank, of course, Professor Berardi as a chair of the organizing committee, and Professor Allard, that is the chair of the scientific committee, to invite me to say a few words as a welcome message. It's a great pleasure for me, as I am a professor at this university, as well as have been the co-advisor of the PhD thesis of Umberto Berardi many, but not too much, years ago. But I am here, as Umberto said, as the president of ARTI, which is the Apulia Regional Agency for Technology and Innovation. ARTI takes care of analysis of research and innovation dynamics at the regional level, as well as ARTI supports the regional government in proposing research and innovation policies. And then today, environmental sustainability is a must in redesigning innovation policies in all sectors, as climate change is forcing society to shift toward more sustainable economy. Building sector is one of the most important and promising sectors where to invest, as the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change often remembers to all of us. Also, buildings are fundamental objects that can contribute to the people's well-being. This is another issue that is going up in all governments' agenda, especially when cities are becoming smarter. In one word, a smart city is a place where people live well. And not only where investments are made in terms, for instance, in the information communication technology. Finally, building technologies are quickly changing as new technologies like ICT, materials, processing are enablers of significant improvements and innovations. So, in few words, few reasons to motivate the interest of RT and the Apulia regional government to what is going to emerge from this conference, Iaqvec 2019, whose focus is on the theme Healthy Nearly Zero Energy Buildings. I read the program, and I understand that the conference is expected to create a platform through which stakeholders from various countries will be enabled to exchange their knowledge, tradition, and experiences. This is, from my point of view, another important methodological aspect that I wish to stress, as technology is more than technical issues, especially when technological transitions are considered. Finally, I have been impressed by the conference numbers. More than 500 submissions, 77 countries. I understand this has been a great job. I hope then that you will enjoy the conference program, but I hope you will take some time to experience the rich culture and history of Bari, a taste of Bari. In the program, at the section venue, in its description, I read something about the city of Bari. Well, the city of Bari is true, is a mix of history, culture, and fun. It's a multicultural, open, tolerant, and friendly community. In one word, it's a creative place in a Mediterranean lifestyle place. So, welcome again, and enjoy your stay. Be it fruitful and relaxing at the same time. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, there is actually the city of Bari that sent us his apologies. We have the pro-mayor of the city of Bari, Professor Dishasho, who used to be director of this university until 2 weeks ago. So it is my pleasure to kind of welcome Professor Dishasho on the stage.
Thank you, Umberto. He just spoiled my initial greeting, because it is really a double pleasure to be here today, because I was the chancellor, the president of this university up to less than 1 month ago, and I'm currently the vice mayor of the city of Bari. So I'm really glad to see you all here today, and I really have my best wishes also on behalf of the mayor, who is actually also a graduate of this university, but he couldn't be here, and of the city of Bari. And I wish to thank Professor Berardi, the committee that chose Bari as the venue for this important conference. And this conference is important also for the city. For the city, because we believe that the topics we're going to deal with in these next 3 days are extremely important for our future, for the future of the way we live, of the ability of cities, larger and smaller ones, to cope with the increasing challenges of having more and more people, but also the challenge of having them live well. And the sustainability issues that you will deal with in this conference are fundamental for our future, for the future of our city, and for the future of our planet. We cannot underestimate the challenges that we're going to go through in the next few years. But we have to cope with them to the best of our ability, and as scientists, as researchers, we have not only the responsibility that comes from being professors, from being researchers, but in these times we have a stronger responsibility, because more than in previous eras, we have the necessity to be able to show to the people the challenges that are on the stage today in this and in the coming years. So we also have the need not only to study, to research, to do our best, but we also have the need to make people understand what's going to happen if we don't take action in the now and the next few years. And technology and the research are the key to make people live in houses, in cities that can be sustainable. So you have somehow a great challenge, but also a great responsibility. And I'm sure that the topics we will discuss in the next few days here in Bari will give some new insights to our future research, to your future research, for the well-being of our cities and our citizens. And as Professor Albino just said, I wish you all to welcome you here in this town, in this beautiful town, not only because I'm the vice mayor of it, but because I believe that is really, and hope you will agree with us after spending some days here. I also hope that you will have the possibility to spend some time for leisure. I just checked the weather and noticed that up to Saturday there are at least 2 days that can be spent also going to the sea or something like that, and I encourage you to take some time also from the conference, because Bari is worth visiting. Also the countryside of this city is quite worth visiting, and I hope you also have some days to spend in Apulia, which is really a quite diverse and beautiful town. We believe that the future of our city is in welcoming people and in having them live in, as Professor Albino said, in a Mediterranean framework, let me say it, and where we can cope with excellent activities, excellent research, as also in this university is done, but also in a way of living that is still feasible and is still interesting to be. So again, thank you to all for being here, and good work for the rest of the conference. Thanks.
So next in the agenda is my pleasure to welcome Professor Papaletter, who is currently the President, Chancellor of this university, since actually Professor Di Sciascio stepped down. So I actually also would like to kind of remind everybody that we have been already behind schedule, so if everybody can actually stick on time, we're going to try actually to be actually quick. Thank you so much.
You can...
Yeah, sure.
C'è scritto. I'm really obliged to, good morning to you all. I'm really obliged to say the same words my Professor Albino and Professor Di Sciascio said, but it's obviously is a great pleasure for me and a really honor for me to be here to welcome you at this 10th International Conference on Indoor Air Quality and Ventilation and Energy Conservation in Buildings. This is a very important subject, important to all studies we are doing in the world. And what I say, I work in experimental mechanics, and I can say that some of what I do in my research is close to this subject, and I can obviously, it is very important, I think. I bring you the greetings of the Politecnico di Bari, of the colleagues from Politecnico di Bari, and I was surprised of how much people came here for this conference. There are about more than 350 people registered, and I think, yes, it is. And I've seen that there are 750 people, authors of the papers presented. The papers, I have a look at the title of the papers, of the lecture, and they seem to be very, very interesting, especially the papers which will give as keynote lectures from the 5 people coming, 5 colleagues, 5 professors coming from all over the world. Obviously, I will repeat that it's a great pleasure for us to welcome you in Italy and in Bari, which is the capital of the Regione Puglia, and in my technical university to attend so important conference. I hope you can first obviously attend the conferences, the lectures, but I hope that you can enjoy the city of Bari and our region Puglia, which is one amongst the most beautiful places in Italy. Before to leave, I would like to thank very much Professor Berardi, which is the chairman of the organizing committee, and Professor Francis Allard, which is the chairman of the scientific committee. So, shall I open the conference, or you? Okay, so it is a great pleasure for me to declare, to say that this conference is open, and you can go directly to the session to attend lectures which will be given. Thank you very much for all.
So I invite Professor Faris on the stage. Faris, do you want to speak on the stage or from the table? I have a few photos of your life. You will understand soon why I'm saying this. As soon as actually it's going to scroll down for another slide, you're going to see why.
Mr. Rector, Mr. President, distinguished guests, and dear participants, on behalf of Professor Francis Allard, myself, the founder of this meeting, and the past president, the chair, Professor Kim, Professor Cavalli, Professor Zhang, I would like to welcome you to this meeting. The idea of organizing an international conference on indoor air quality, ventilation, and energy conservation in building conference was actually discussed and planned in 1989 during a breakfast in Vancouver, Canada. After 3 days long of meeting, attending several sessions and technical committee where they were discussing about indoor air quality, ventilation, and energy conservation in separate meetings without talking to each other. Dr. Allard's idea was why there is no direct communication among different players. After some discussion, we agreed to organize a workshop. And our plan was in Montreal soon to discuss about this issue of indoor air quality, ventilation, and energy conservation building. However, after a few weeks, our plan changed, and rather than having a workshop, we decided to make it a little bit bigger, and we said, let's have a symposium on this topic. And after 1 month and so on, Francis convinced me that we should have an international conference. And that was in 1982 that we had our first conference in Montreal. And after that, we moved around the world. How can I change it to this one? I'm an engineer. We had in China, then we moved to Japan, and then we moved to the United States, and then we moved to South Korea. Now that we are here, the 10th conference is the one among the most, many more to come. I'm delighted to see after Indoor Air Quality Conference that we have in South Korea. This meeting is coming back to Europe and bring back the latest scientific knowledge in this field. Since its establishment, the meeting has continued to grow in terms of the number of papers received and the number of the participants. This indicates the importance of the issue discussed at this conference and people awareness. Recently, we found and established an association called Indoor Air Quality, Ventilation and Energy Conservation. A general assembly has been scheduled on Saturday to form a new board. I hope to see all at this meeting. We need your input, suggestion, and active participation. Finally, I wish you a fruitful 3 days meeting, and I hope you enjoy your stay here in Bari. Thank you again.
Thanks, Paris. I invite on the stage Professor Allard. He's gonna just give you the final number of the conference and introduce you to the program that is going to happen.
Thank you, Umberto. Good morning, everybody, dear friends. It's my pleasure to give some information about the scientific work about this conference. We received more than 500 abstracts for many places in the world, and we selected finally more than 300 papers. I have to thank very much all the members of the scientific committee for their contribution to this hard work of selection of the papers and the designation of the keynote speakers. I want also to thank University of Bari and the city of Bari for hosting this conference. And after the few words of memory by Fariborz, I think we have to go further. And as Fariborz mentioned, we will have a meeting on Saturday in order to define the evolution of our association and the needs we can feel in the future conference of Iaqvec. Okay, may I introduce now? I go through the half day session. We'll start with a keynote speech. So we selected 5 keynote speech in different aspects, covering, let's say, the targets of this conference. I will not introduce in detail the keynote speaker now because they will be introduced later. I will just go through, and then to the first, in a moment, will be Professor Kinyan Chen, so I will introduce later. Philomena Blusen from Delft University. Professor Mauro Strada, former professor in Venice. Dr. Xudong Yang, from Tsinghua University. So we try to have speakers from different continents too. And finally, Professor Santa Maurice, now in Australia, but a partner for a long time in many projects in Europe. We also proposed a special issue of various international journals, so we will have keynote guest editors for each of them, and we will have a strong work of selection of papers in order to provide this special issue in the different international journals. We need to thank also all the partners of the conference. And so in different, as you can see, from institutionals, but also to the engineering and, from the engineering associations in Italy and so on. And finally, I want to give some words on behalf of Frank Hovorka, the president of RIVA. RIVA is the Federation of the European HVAC Engineer Association, and RIVA is representing 28 national associations in Europe and more than 100,000 engineers in our field in Europe. So Frank Hovorka is not able to be with us today because he is sick. He called me yesterday night. And so as a previous past president of RIVA, it's my pleasure to host you today and to give you the warmest regards of all our members in Europe. Maybe you... Yes, please.
Yeah. Before introducing Professor Chen, please Francis stay here 1 second. I simply want to let you know that since not all of you have collected the program, I also want to kind of give you a bit of the idea of this morning organization. First of all, I would like actually really to ask you to download the conference app. You can really easily download from any kind of app store by simply Googling conference for me and then looking for Iaqvec 2019. And this app is full of information. It is the program. You can link to your Google Calendar, but you can also rate papers, see all the authors, see where they are if they actually declared that option. So it's a really good tool in order to help you navigate through the conference. And in case you are not an app person, this is a kind of an idea of the program for the next 3 days. So for the next 3 days, we are always starting every day the session here. So the start will be always on time at 8:30. And we are going to stay here until 10:30. So for a couple of hours, we always are going to meet here in the plenary room. 10:30 is the most important thing of the morning, which is the networking part in the coffee break. And then at 11 straight on time, we are going to move towards the parallel session that is going to be in a corridor that in a moment I'm going to show you. Around 1 o'clock, there is going to be the lunch time. And when I'm saying around, is because it's going to be at 1 o'clock today, at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and at 1:30 on Saturday, for a reason I'm going to tell you in a moment. At 2 p.m., we're going to straight start again with the parallel section from 2 to 4 p.m. Then at 4 p.m., there is again a coffee break for half an hour, and then we're going to have another heavy session of parallel sessions from 4:30 to 6. And then actually there is clearly the moment to enjoy the city and to know a bit about the place where we are. Just to actually let you know what's going to happen, every night there is going to be a different event housed in a different part of the city. So in a moment, you're going to actually see where we're going tonight. Another thing will be happening tomorrow, and another thing will be happening on Saturday night. So it's quite an intense series of events, and it's not always easy to follow everything, so that's why I'm actually willing to give you a bit of a sense. Always come here at 8 o'clock, maximum at 8:30. Starts actually with the keynote. At 8:30, we're going to have 1 keynote today and 2 keynotes tomorrow and 2 keynotes on Saturday. And then we are going to have the coffee break, parallel session, lunch, and all the other sessions. So just to give you the sense, we are in the south part of the city of Bari. and all our social activities are going to be in the old town. Okay? So it's walkable distance, but it's not really close by. And in order to help you to move very quickly, we are going to have the bus. So at 6 p.m., as soon as we finish today, for example, the plenary session, there are going to be bus just on the left as you get out of this plenary room. They're going to help you moving towards where we are entering. So if you plan to go to your hotel, I mean, that means you're going to reach the final destination by your own, and it's always going to be in the downtown of the city of Bari. Okay? So it's always going to be in the historic part of the city of Bari. If you want to walk, it's going to be around half an hour walk from here to where we are going to end for today welcoming party or for tomorrow gala dinner. So it's almost doable if you are a walk person. Otherwise, stay with us with the bus. In terms of logistic internally, everything will start here. All the lunch and coffee break will be served in the atrium, where you basically pass it by entering into the campus. And all the kind of parallel session is going to be along a single corridor where you're going to find the different rooms. Room number 3, number 5, number 7, number 11, number 9, number 11. So basically, you can easily jump from one session to another if you want. And I hope all the chairs of the different sessions are going to stay on time, so are going to help us trying to figure out people looking for different papers in different sessions. So just to give you the sense of what's going to happen tonight, we are going to have the welcoming party that is going to be housed at Fortino in Sant'Antonio, thanks to the mayor of Bari that kindly housed it. And tomorrow we are going to have the gala dinner just opposite to this little custom. So today the kind of welcoming party is really going to start around 7:30. However, if you really want to see the city of Bari, I really recommend you to stay with us with the bus. We're going to have a bus leaving at 6:15, reaching the Fortino basically around 6:30, 6:40, depending on traffic conditions. And we are going to have 1 hour of historical tour with professional kind of people that are going to make groups of no more than 10, and you're going to have a 1 hour of walk around the city of Bari. So the first historical tour is planned with the buses that are going to leave at 6:15. Then the bus will come back, and at 7 p.m. they will leave again and bring another 150 of us. So you're going to have more buses basically going and coming back. So if for any reason you want to stay here for a few more minutes, there is always going to be another bus coming back to collect people until 7 p.m. If you pass the deadline of 7 p.m., then basically reaching the Fortino is going to be on your own. Okay? And then tonight at the Fortino, we are going to actually stay there around from 7:30 as soon as the touristic tour ends, until 10 p.m. Okay? And then we see tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I really need to thank the kind of sponsor to help us put together the social events, which had some relative costs that they helped us to cover. And I want actually to give back the word to Professor Allar.
Thank you for this technical information.